Alright, so here I am building at least two essential jigs that are needed to do the roof raise on this bus. So the first one is the lifting jacks, which I'll use the nuts, all thread, and this pipe to make some jacks that will raise the roof. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute, but first what I've done so far is cut up 8 pieces of flat bar. It's 2-inch flat bar, and I just I don't know what the dimension that way is, about 4 inches. And then what I'm going to do is over here, I'm just using my toolbox because it's pretty convenient. So I'm going to weld those together. That gives me a nice flat, straight connection between those two pieces. So I'm just going to finish prepping all these pipes and flat bars. The flat bar's finished, but as you can see, these pipes, they have a bunch of burrs on them. So I'm going to get those cleaned up and then clean a strip like I did on this one. Kind of hard to see, but there's a shiny strip. That's just so the weld will it'll weld good. So that's all I'm doing, is just cleaning up a spot. Alright, so these are ready to weld. I'll bring y'all back with the welding setup. Alright, so I'm using just a Harbor Freight Flux Core 125 welder. This is probably going to be the only welder I need on this whole bus build. So I've been using this one for a couple years. It's pretty good. And then I got a welding helmet there. So I'm going to set all this stuff up on my toolbox and weld it together. So this is what we got. Used to actually be a really good welder, but I just don't care. As long as it holds, I don't care what it looks like. So I got 8 of these. Once they cool off, I'll show you what I'm doing with them. Okay, the second jig I'm gonna make, what it's gonna do, so what I have under here are the hat channel extensions. So after I cut the hat channels, these extensions are gonna go in to raise it 12 inches. These are 12 inches from here to here. So I'm using these to mock up this 1.5 inch piece of square tubing. I got the one with holes because that's all I could find locally, that I didn't have to buy a 20-foot section. So I'm going to line it up really good, and then I want to weld these onto the not the hat channel extensions, but this upper piece. I'm going to weld them to here. That way, when I cut the roof, when I cut those hat channels, I can use that tube steel to line everything up when I weld it, so that it'll be nice and straight. So that's what I'm making right now. I'll probably just put these here and clamp them. So yeah, let me do that. So that's what I got. I got that angle iron clamped on about a little more than halfway onto the hat channel. So I'm just gonna tack weld up here. It doesn't need to be very strong. It's just to locate the hat channels. It's not to hold anything up. So, and I don't want to warp anything. So I'm gonna do a few tacks, and then I'll add some down here towards this end and that end. Okay, the last jig I need to make is something that can allow me to get this saw exactly perpendicular to the hat channel, so I can make a flat cut. So what I did was I thought about going off of this plate, but once locked down, this plate is not in line with the blade. So I went off the blade. I put a hat channel to see where I want the cut to be made. Right there. I put a small dot, and then I put this square exactly 90 degrees to the blade, and I drew a line on that dot. And now I will place this flat bar right there on the line. That way, and then I will attach this to the base plate. That way when I mount the saw up to the hat channel, it will rest against there, giving me a perpendicular cut every time. That's the idea. Alright, I went ahead and did a plunge cut. I'm lucky, that's as far as the blade went. It almost went all the way through. So be careful of that if you're going to try this. Hopefully that's square enough. I guess we'll see. You know, I think even if it's just a bit off, it's not a huge deal. As long as it's consistent from hat channel to hat channel, if I have a tiny gap on one side of the hat channel, I can fill it with weld. And by gap, I mean like a few thousandths of an inch, not like an eighth of an inch. That's too much.